you today? I hope you have drank plenty of tea, because have we got a show for you. Welcome to Breaking Out of the Bubble, a news and variety show created by the Hanover College Student Broadcasting Association. This is Tea Time with your host, Roxy Morris. Now, you may be wondering why I am speaking in a fairly horrible British accent. Once again, this is proof that we should be having a spring term class to London. The reason I am speaking like this is because in this show, we celebrate our world and all of the cultures in it. That and Dr. Bedler, communication professor here, has been wanting to see me act in a British episode for quite some time now. But enough with all of that. First of all, we go to our travel abroad experiences. I have heard people call traveling abroad as one of the single best experiences in their lives. It is one of the highlights of their times here at Hanover. Our own Katie Bedsall talked to some students about their past and future study abroad trips. Let's have a look.
Hi, my name is Katie Bedsall and I'm here on the streets of Hanover College. We're here today in the Withrow Center, a popular hangout for many students. I got to talk to some of those students today about their aspirations in studying abroad. Here's a look.
The things I look forward most to about studying abroad is experiencing a culture firsthand, the opportunity to travel, and learning a new language.
If I got to study abroad, I would be most excited about traveling somewhere outside of the country and getting to visit a new place, see some new things, and really immerse myself in a different culture and really get to know just what other places have to offer.
Well, I'm going to Italy this spring, and I've been looking forward to this trip for about 2 years now, since they went the last time. And I'm excited for all of it. I'm excited to go to the Vatican. I'm excited for all the Italian foods. So basically everything.
I'm also going to Italy this year. I'm super excited, and kind of like what Kelsey said, I am excited for like the food and just the experience and the culture. I'm especially excited about going to Assisi, where St. Francis lived, because he is my favorite saint, and I just learned about what he did and how he influenced the church and the Catholic Church.
Now here's some advice from some students who have traveled abroad.
Biggest advice would be to be open to new experiences and to not be afraid to embrace the new experiences. I know that a lot of people have trouble doing that because it's new and new things are scary. So I would just say it's all about embracing it, going for it and having fun.
My one piece of advice is to try everything once. Dog is good, so go for it.
Don't get lost, but if you do get lost, make sure you have a number of someone you can call that can help you get places so you aren't lost.
I always love hearing about people's adventures when they study abroad. I hope to have some adventures myself when I go to Ireland this May. Well, thanks for watching In the Streets. My name is Katie Bedsall. Back to you, Roxy.
It is so wonderful to hear about everyone enjoying their study abroad experiences. I personally look forward to my own experience and opportunity to see the world for myself. Now we go to Lindsay Book, who talks to one of our own students who took advantage of the many opportunity Hanover offers to travel. Lindsay?
Going abroad has become an exciting and fun benefit for the students of Hanover College. One of the ways students get to travel is by applying for a Richter Grant. These Richter Grants give students the ability to travel and do research and field work. Here with me I have Emma and Irby. During winter break, she went to Paris on a Richter Grant. So you were in Paris doing street photography. Yes. Can you explain to me what street photography is exactly?
Street photography is really similar to photojournalism. It's more of kind of a free style of photography, so you're not really looking to pose certain people, but you're kind of just immersing yourself in the culture and then trying to capture the culture in a photograph.
Okay, so what were some of your goals for your research project?
I went there to study two specific street artists that are street photographers who kind of had a lot of inspiration coming out of Paris, which was Henri Cartier-Bresson and Robert Doisneau. And they both kind of had the majority of their work coming out of Paris. And so my main goal was to see Paris kind of in the same way they did, but take a more modern take of it. So coming away with a body of work that I created myself to reflect kind of the experiences that I had there and what I learned from being in Paris. So,
Have you ever been to Paris before now?
yeah, this was my third time to Paris. So, but this was a really different experience than I'd had before, because the past times I've been was very much like, oh, you're going to go from this tourist spot to this one. So this one was much more, I got to do what I wanted to do, and I spent a lot more time kind of with the people and just like wandering down the streets and stuff like that. So it was a much more kind of free experience.
So I have some of your pictures here, and they're really, really cool. So can you tell us about what we're seeing here?
Okay, this one I took outside of Notre Dame, which is the really famous church there. And this one, as you can see, it's a little boy. And this one was kind of one of those moments where as I was walking past, I saw it happening and had to kind of snap it really quickly. As you can see, he's swinging on a street sign. So yeah, it's kind of that whimsical, like, childhood experience being in a place as historical as Paris. So it's kind of that juxtaposition between how kids experience it and then how adults experience it, I guess.
So here's another one of your photos. Can you tell us a little bit about this?
Okay, well, I spent as a traveler, you spend a lot of time on public transportation. And so this one I took on the metro, and it's a reflection of a woman riding the metro. And it was interesting because you're trapped in this really small space with a bunch of other people, but nobody's interacting. Everyone's like talking on their cell phones or listening to music. So in that image, I believe she was listening to like music or something like that. But I just thought it was really interesting to kind of catch that reflection of it and how people acted on public transportation instead of communicating with one another.
Tell me a little bit about this one.
This one was taken right outside the Musée d'Orsay, which is the Impressionist art museum, and that's the Seine, which is the really famous water that goes through Paris. And this is of a man that was, I believe he was painting the bridges that go over the Seine. And I just thought it was really interesting because the time that I was there, it was not height tourism season, so there wasn't many, it wasn't flooded with like tourists, and there also weren't many street vendors out. Because normally the whole, like, right along the Seine is just crowded, filled with street vendors. And this was one of the only people that I saw the whole day, and he was just painting. And I just thought it was so interesting because that was happening right outside of the Musée d'Orsay, which is this really famous Impressionist art museum. So
Yeah, that's awesome. I've never even really seen anybody here in America just sit around and paint.
yeah, or if you see them doing that, then it's like they're doing it to sell them, or they're doing the like caricature photograph or paintings that you get at like street fairs, I don't know, things like that. So
Yeah, just a completely different idea.
yeah, which is the whole mentality of Paris. Everyone's much slower, they take their time, they kind of really experience what's happening around them. So I think that was a pretty good portrayal of daily life.
So what was your favorite place to shoot at?
I shot a lot at art museums, so the Centre Pompidou, which is the Contemporary Art Museum, the Louvre, the Musée d'Orsay, and I really liked those because it was interesting to see how people were reacting to a lot of the art in there. Kind of something I struggled with while I was in the museums was watching people not actually experience the art, but instead kind of take pictures of it or see it through the screens of their cell phones and things like that. So I spent a lot of time in art museums, and because I really was interested in how people were experiencing them in that way. So those are probably my favorites.
Yeah, I've actually never been to Paris before, but like seeing your pictures makes it sound so much different than what I would think of. I would never think to just like look at the people, but
Yeah.
it's really interesting to see how they reacted to the pictures.
And as a street photographer or as a photojournalist, that's your goal, is to capture the people instead of capturing kind of the monuments or things like that. It's really to get the essence of a culture in one photograph, which is very difficult and something that I had a lot of trouble actually like learning how to do. But it was still really fun and a great experience. So.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see everything on it, all the rest of your projects also.
Yeah, cool.
If you would like to see Imran's projects, they'll be on display soon. Back to you, Roxy.
Women play a significant role in all countries and communities across the world. Our own Savannah Woodford talks to some Hanover students about the important women in their lives.
Hi, I'm Savannah Woodford, and normally for Bursting Out of the Bubble, I focus on opinions with pop culture, but in light of Women's History Month, I decided to do something a little bit different in respect of that. So what I've done is I went on campus and I was talking to various people, faculty members and students, and kind of seeing women that inspire them, that they think are strong and powerful, and also just getting their thoughts on Women's History Month in general, and that's basically what was discussed here. So let's take a look at what everyone had to say.
Women's History Month is a place where women can empower themselves and take back who they are.
One woman that comes to mind right away is the artist Frida Kahlo. It takes courage, I think, to be able to, within that context, see beauty differently and to see beauty in whatever form you might manifest it in, and to be proud of that.
I think that Jane Goodall is someone that I would look up to and respect as like a professional.
The names that immediately came to mind were Aretha Franklin and Nina Simone. One of the things that I love about these particular two performers is the way they're both versatile musicians. They both have classical training, for example. Both have at different times studied at Juilliard. I mean, I think it would be limiting to say they're great female artists. They're not. They're just amazing artists, period.
I went to go with my mom. As a single woman, we have to say she's loving, trustworthy, strong, like you said, and very helpful in trying to raise me to be the man I am today.
I think of a strong woman, I think of my mother. Reason being, I was raised in only a single mother household, a single parent household, and it was just my mom. And so she was my mother and my father. You have to believe in what you're doing and continue to fight for that. And I think she does that and determined. She's a very determined person to do what she wants, and she's courageous, So I think those are kind of the things that I think of when I think of my mom.
Think of groups of Catholic nuns that I have met in various contexts over the years. The reason that I admire them is they are very strong and accomplished women, and they function within what has long been known as a patriarchal institution. I like how they balance both religion and social advocacy.
I think that it should reflect how far women have come, because it should show like strong women that we've had in the past. So, and then I think it should also inspire women today.
As a woman, make sure that you're knowledgeable on all things. Make sure that you look up your women's history facts in all cultures.
I love women, and thank you for all your hard work and putting up with us males, because I know it's a struggle, so thank you.
Many women had to struggle quite a bit in order to earn the rights and the privileges that we enjoy today. And I think it's just a reminder that what we enjoy, we owe to women of the past.
I know I am truly thankful for the important women in my life. Now we go to a woman here on Hanover's campus. Here we go to Casey Tufel, the editor-in-chief of The Triangle, who gives us some of our own Hanover news.
He's defeated zombies, won the Hunger Games, and now he's conquering Hanover College. A-lister Woody Harrelson returns to receive an honorary doctorate. Harrelson graduated from Hanover College in 1983 with majors in both English and theater. By 1983, he rose to fame on the hit sitcom Cheers. Since then, he starred in one Hollywood hit after another. Most recently, his career has been catching fire in the Hunger Games trilogy.
I'm kind of one of those people who believes that just fate kind of leads you where you want it to go and just don't resist. And it was my mom she really liked this kid who was in our church in Lebanon, Ohio, and his name is Tom Olson. She said, I'd really love it if you should go to that college where that nice Tom Olson boy goes. I'm like, okay. Didn't look at another college. Wow. Didn't even, just like, absolutely. My mom never steered me the wrong direction before, and she didn't then.
Woody isn't the only Hollywood legend to be found at Hanover. This year's Academy Award Best Picture went to 12 Years a Slave, the film adaptation of Solomon Northrop's 1853 book. Hanover College's Duggan Library bought a first edition of this book just 12 days before the film won an Oscar. Another exciting book that just entered the archives collection influenced Abraham Lincoln on his opinion of slavery. These books join the library's already extensive collection of slave narratives. Mother Nature has been in a cranky mood this winter. Her attitude doesn't seem to be improving this spring either. Today it's sunny, but by Saturday, Hanover College is facing more snow. From below freezing to mid-60s, these weather fluctuations are causing havoc in students' lives.
And that's crazy, and that our house can't keep its temperature. It gets warm, then it gets our air conditioning kicks on, then it gets cold and our heat kicks on. So our house right now is really cold, even though it's cold outside, because it's still not adjusting. So it's been kind of tough.
It's made me mad. All I want to do is put on shorts and a t-shirt, but I can't. I really want to get my arms some sun, but that's not happening either. So I'm very upset.
It's been very difficult. Trying to warm up in the cold, it takes quite a while. Stretching, performing, it's really difficult. And not only for the baseball team, I can speak for other athletics as well. It's just really hard to go out and compete in this really frigid weather.
It snowed yesterday. It's March. If it snows in April, I'm 100% killing a wolf, wearing its pelt, and preparing for 3 years of winter.
Okay, so if you're wondering, that's an extreme reaction to our crazy weather. Understand that China is among those students convinced that we're entering the Norse apocalypse, Ragnarok, which starts off with 3 years of winter. When the weather isn't looking too good in Indiana, you can guarantee a warm spring term, if you make plans to study off campus. Many Hanover College students are getting ready to pack their bags. And next month marks a very special milestone. It's the 50th anniversary of the geology field trip to Ghost Ranch, New Mexico. Hanover College's first off-campus May term class. Developed in 1964, it's still going strong. From retired Professor Stan Totten designed this off-campus course.
Students are always telling me that this is the most important experience of their college careers.
Students on this course not only collect specimens and learn more about geology, but they are also able to experience the natural beauty and learn more about culture and the history of New Mexico. The 1964 Ghost Ranch field study was made possible because of Hanover's innovative month-long extensive one-month term. Since then, universities and colleges around the nation have copied our lead. And that's all for Hanover College's news. I'm Casey Tufel.
Sports can unite or divide countries depending on who is playing what. They exist everywhere and play huge parts in our lives, whether or not we notice it. Our own Matt Ryan gives us an update on the sports of Hanover College.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Matt Ryan. This year's women's basketball team experienced many highs during the season, and a lot of those were with the help of their best player. Freshman guard Jessie Davidson had a tremendous rookie season after winning Freshman of the Year and as a member of the All-Conference team. She guided Hanover to the conference championship and even scored a career-high 28 points. If she lives up to her potential, Davidson could be seen as the face of Hanover basketball. After almost winning back-to-back championship seasons, the Hanover College women's basketball team hopes to rebound in the coming years with the help of a top-tier freshman. Newcomer Jessie Davidson has been a force on the court all season. After averaging a team-best 14 points per game, Davidson paced Hanover to a second-place finish in this year's conference tournament. Despite coming up short in the championship game, the local Austin product is still happy with her play this season.
I played well at Earlham. I had my career high of 28 points. I had a double-double against Defiance.
Even though Hanover lost in the championship game, Jessie's season still ended on a high note. She was named first-team All-Conference and was named Conference Freshman of the Year.
In the beginning, I felt as if I was a contender, but by the end of the season, I thought there were other players that may have been awarded that over me, but I ended up receiving it.
Many of Jessie's teammates feel that she is a very important part of this team. There are other people who feel that she can go down as one of Hanover's greats.
Like, she could be up there with the Molly Martins, the Molly Joneses. Like, she could be up there in that caliber of level. Like, she has that much talent. She has that much potential to be that good.
Jessie Davidson will be an important piece of Hanover basketball. Winning Freshman of the Year is just the beginning. Freshmen often help a team, but few change a team. Jessie Davidson is one of those players who can change a team and, with her talent, can bring greatness back to Hanover basketball. There's a saying in sports that the height of your success is determined by the depth of your belief, and that's exactly the mindset of lacrosse this season. Despite a disappointing 5-11 record last year, the Panther lacrosse team could win its first ever league title this season. As of now, they are 7-2 and 3-1 in conference play. Leading the charge are juniors Josh Green and Addison Sears. Green was recently named MLC Athlete of the Week after setting the school record for most goals in a game. He broke fellow junior Nick Herm's record of 8 goals against Mount St. Joe earlier this year. The next home game will be on April 5th against Elmhurst College, right here at Ellis Ayers Field. And finally, football is still about 5 months away, but one of their players is receiving national attention. Sophomore defensive lineman Jake Stillwell was a force all season for the Panthers. He set a Hanover record this year with 15 sacks on the season and also led the team in tackles for loss. Stillwell was recently named a finalist for the Cliff Harris Award, the top small school defensive player in college football. Among the players up for the award, Stillwell was the only sophomore player listed. Jake is here with us today to talk about this prestigious award. Jake, thanks for being on the show, man.
Thanks for having me.
You know, just to start with, what was it like being nominated for a national award?
It's a really cool honor, especially since I was the only sophomore this year. And I know it was one of the first years of this award, so it hasn't been around a while, but I was really honored to be nominated for that award.
Well, can you talk to me a little bit about what the whole presentation was like? I know you told me you were not able to go, but what happened? How did you get selected? How did you get nominated for it? Can you tell us that process?
I'm not exactly sure how I was nominated. It was either through a coach or I know our publicist through Hanover nominates people for awards, and I think he might have nominated me. But it was one of those two ways, and I found out through the coaches one day, and I was really honored. It's a really cool award. Really special.
Sounds like it. Well, is this award, how is it going to motivate you for next season?
Oh, I would love to win the award at some point, and that's all the motivation I need. And other thing would be to win conference. I mean, football's a team game, and that's really the big thing. The individual stuff is nice, but I would love to get a conference championship before I leave here.
So it was a pretty good feeling overall getting that?
Great feeling.
Awesome. Well, you know, now we're shifting a little bit to your record that you posted this season, the sack record. You had 15. That's more than most NFL players get in a season.
Yeah, it was very nice. I had a lot of teammates who really helped, and the coaches, they put me in the right situations. It's a team game, and I couldn't have done that by myself. The linebackers, DBs, they do a great job covering receivers, and if they don't cover receivers long enough, I can't make the sack. And the other D linemen keeping the quarterback in the pocket, doing little things that some people may not notice, but it's really helpful for my success and the team's success.
What goes through your head when you're about ready to get the quarterback there? When you see the ball snap, what goes through your head?
Sometimes you just kind of like, it's that little blackout adrenaline type thing, and you just don't really know. It just kind of happens, but it's really a cool feeling. Probably unrelatable to some things, but it's a special feeling.
Now, earlier this year, I mean, you're not the only player to get some national attention. Dexter went to Mexico for that All-Star game. So with you two being nominated for these national awards, what does that say about Hanover football?
Hanover football, we started out rough this year, but I believe we're a lot better than our record has us kind of posted as. And I would expect next year to completely compete for a conference title, beat Franklin. That's the first and only goal, really.
Well, speaking of goals, what are your goals for next season?
The big goal is to win conference, beat Franklin. I'd like to become an All-American. I'd like to break my own sack record again. I don't want to, I guess, do worse than I did last year. But it'll be tough. It'll be some different challenges, but I'd love to win conference. That's the big one.
Breaking your own sack record, 15.
Yeah.
That's a lot. But so what else should we expect from the team next season? Well, I mean, Dexter, he's a big part of the team for the last 3 years. And other guys like Warden and Colin, you know, what should we expect next year with losing a lot?
Offensively, we didn't lose. We lost Dexter, which is a lot. He all conference a couple years, but we have a lot of guys who are very capable of stepping in and filling that position. We'll have 4 seniors up front on the offensive line. Those young receivers should be a lot better this year. They had a whole offseason to go through, so they should be tremendous. They should just be a lot better than they were last year. And defensively, we have to replace the secondary, but we have good guys coming back, and hopefully we bring in a couple of recruits that can play. But I believe that we'll be all right.
And we're going to beat Franklin?
Yeah, that is the 100% number one goal is to beat Franklin.
That's all we need. So there you have it. Primetime players, they bring home titles. Hanover will try to capture its first conference championship since 2002.
Good luck to all of the Hanover College teams with the rest of their seasons. Language can act as a barrier between countries. Silent movies, however, can break through and reach all cultures and communities. Their familiar tales bring joy to people of all ages and backgrounds. In the visual communication class here at Hanover College, students made silent movies portraying a variety of situations, ranging from running late to class to running away from a gorilla. Let's take a look.
I heard your boyfriend is in his room with another girl.
excellent work to all of our Hanover students. It takes some serious effort to overcome the language barrier, but they did it flawlessly. Well, everyone, that does it for our show, for both this episode and this season. Breaking Out of the Bubble will be back in the fall with a fresh set of faces, ready to knock your knickers off. Have a fantastic summer and good day.